Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, I hope everyone is doing okay. All right. So today is our last theoretical part. We will wrap up with video. We have already discussed about graphics, animation, and audio. And then today is the last part of the discussion, which is video. Okay. I'm going to try to finish all in one meeting, even though it's going to be long, but because next week we are going to start with the practical, right? Before we move on, do you guys have any inquiry, any questions regarding this course? Everything clear so far? Do you have any questions? Everything clear for this course? The final project, the assignment, everything is good?
Now talk about the final project. What is the assignment for the
What is
final
the
project?
Okay, let me share with you. Okay, so you can see assignment 1, you have already done that. All right. Now for assignment 2, which carries 35% of the mark. Okay, it's heavy, you know. You need to put all your efforts. If you don't have, if you have any questions and then it's not clear to you, you can ask always. So what we need to do is we need to create a instructional material. For example, PowerPoint, a video, infographic, you know, something to help you out as a teacher inside your classroom. Okay. And the content of this project, it doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. You can pick any content that you actually have experience with. For example, teaching English, teaching physics, whatever, sports, you know, and make a video or make a media, okay? Make an instructional media about this topic, 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? Using the principles that we have studied in this course. So make sure to use graphic, make sure to use a video, some texts, some audio, sound effects, okay? So the clip or the material that you want to create should be, you know, meeting the 4 criteria or 4 categories of multimedia that we have covered in this class. I hope it's clear. Clear, guys? Okay. And this is actually a group-based assignment. So since you are 50 in this class, maybe we can go for like 5 in one group, 5 students in one group, and then we will have 10 groups or thereabout, you know. Okay, so any other questions? You have already done with the quiz and the assignment 1, and this is the assignment 2. And the e-learning activities, it depends on your participation. Okay, so make sure to talk during the class or when we meet face to face, because this actually has 10 marks as well. Any other questions before we start the class today?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Now, for the topic today, exactly like all the multimedia categories that we have discussed earlier, we are going to talk about, sorry, okay, we are going to talk about video as a multimedia element in education. So today we are expected to cover these topics: introduction to digital video, acquiring video files. We need to learn about the files, advantages of digital, disadvantages, quality versus file size, file format, and editing tools. These editing tools actually is the practical part that we are going to start next week. All right. All right. So there are two approaches to deliver video. One is analog and the other one is digital. Do you remember last week when we talked about analog audio and digital audio, the differences? So from that, can you differentiate between analog video and digital video? Anyone? One more time, what is the differences between analog and digital video? No one would like to answer? Okay.
Is it digital use a computer tu?
Yes, exactly. Agree. Digital is always, when we hear the word digital, is always something related to computers. While analog, it is something that has nothing to do with computers yet. Okay? Because when we talk about analog, we talk about tools, something that has, relation to do with television industry or radio industry, some tools to create these videos, and then we can convert this analog material into digital using the computer softwares. Okay, so video or audio is usually recorded and played as an analog signal. This is using the tools, and therefore it must be digitalized in order to incorporate it into multimedia title. How? Using softwares. Okay, so when we start, for example, when we have a camera, not digital camera though, analog camera, and we actually capture a movie or a clip, what we need to do is to convert this analog file into a digital file. If we didn't convert the analog file into a digital file, we cannot deal with it with our computers. Okay? So this is very important to understand that without the converting from analog to digital, we will not be able to edit. So the video source, such as the video camera, VCR, TV, or video discs, is connected to a video capture card in a computer. So since it's connected to a video card, then it is digital. All right. The analog signal is actually sent to the video capture card and then converted to a digital. All right. So obviously, when we see a question in the exam and we are actually required to differentiate between analog and digital, always remember that analog has something to do with tools, videos, TV industries, and digital is always related to computers, right? So this is the process, how this is how it goes. The analog, we capture the video first. We are taping right now. Then after we finish taping, the video will start to send this material to the card memory. Okay? Once it's sent to the card memory, so it is digitized already by the card. Once it's digitalized, and then it will be stored in the memory or the computers, the hard disk, whatever. So the summary of all this, we cannot save analog file as it is inside our computers or laptops. It must be digitalized. So this is the digital device. It will send this material once we start taping to the transfer card, and then from the card it will be transferred to the disk or cloud or whatever you know, memory that you are using. Now, to be able to transfer from old cameras or analog cameras to our digital devices, we need video capture. This video capture is responsible to digitalize the video for computer devices, Mac, PCs, or iPad, whatever. Okay, so if you don't have this, you cannot capture the video from the device to your digital device. All right, same process from, but this when we talk about digital, it is a short process in comparison with analog because we don't need to convert. It's already converted when we use digital camera, okay, and we actually film any clips, it's already converted. We don't need to convert from analog to digital. So the transferring process is going to be easier and faster. Now, if I ask you a question one more time, what is the difference between analog video and digital video? Are you guys with me?
Yes, better. Yes, better.
Okay. Can anyone tell me the differences between these two, analog and digital?
Digital video is something like computer softwares, and the analog videos is like tools, radio, TV, or camera.
Yeah. Humaira, thank you very much. Yes, correct. So it is obvious that analog has something to do with equipment or tools that is related to, for example, TV industry, radio industry, something that old school, you know. While digital, it is something more advanced. We are dealing with, for example, digital cameras. Once we take the clip or we film the video, it's already digitalized. So we don't need to convert the file. Now, this is an analog devices. These two are analog devices. You can see here, there's no, for example, memory card or um, direct cable between the camera and the computers. Okay, so it's related to uh, the cassette, video tape. This video tape is being extracted directly from the device or other devices. So this is the analog. Unlike the digital, it is something ready, once we take the clip, we can take the memory from the camera, log it in the laptop, and you are ready to go. So multimedia applications is a very powerful tool, especially in education, right? So why we study about this as teachers? Because we need to know how to create videos. It's a huge beneficial way to enhance your teaching and learning process. So you are required to actually learn about the videos, how to create and how to do this, how to do that. It gives an impact to your multimedia application. It might ease some information for the students, especially if you are talking about something from different countries, different culture, something related to practical, so you need to show them a video how to do this, how to do that. And obviously your students or your audience will always pay attention because it's more fun. They can learn using more than one sense. So by integrating the video in your presentations or your speech, your classes, you are increasing the capacity to effectively convey the information that you have. Much more better if you are using a video than graphics, for example, because the videos has graphics and audio. So it's two multimedias. Okay. So it's like integrated with sound and graphics and images at once. And this is what we are going to do in the final project for this course. Okay, so that's why we need to learn about graphics, animation, video, and stuff like that. So what are the advantages? It's very easy to edit because we are living in the age of digital or advanced digitals or technology. It's very easy now to create videos using our smartphones. We can create, we can edit, we can upload into the internet. We can do all that within few minutes using the smartphones. Now, analog video example is videotape because it's the core process of creating videos. Videotape is the core process of creating videos. Without the videotape, we wouldn't know how to create videos. Okay, so analog, the most common example of analog video is videotape. Now, digitalized video are much easier to actually edit because we are using softwares. We are not using tools or equipments. So let's say we want to edit analog video, we need physical tools, we need some physical equipment to edit this video. On the other hand, if you want to edit a digitalized video taken by your camera or smartphone, all you need is a software or maybe an application in your smartphone and you are good to go. Other advantages for digital video is the quality. Quality is something else. Analog used to be a very low quality. And you can tell by, for example, you can watch old films or old clips, historical, clips. You can see the quality is quite bad. Nowadays we have 4K, 8K, something like more real, more realistic. So unlike analog video, digital video requires neither a video board in the computer nor an external devices. It's very simple to create digital video. As I mentioned, you can do this by smartphone. Now we have quality versus file size. This is very common in multimedia. As we discussed last week, um, just like the audio, when we have the sample rate high and the quality of the audio high, so the file size will be higher as well. So the more the resolution, the more the quality, the more is the size of the video. And one more time, digital videos can be extremely large sometimes, especially when you deal with editing softwares like Adobe Premiere, for example. Now, when you edit original videos or raw data directly from a camera, you add some sound effects, some graphics, introduction, subtitles, whatever. And then when you want to export this video, you are going to need a massive amount of space to save this video. So this is one of the disadvantages for digital video, that it needs a lot of space. Okay. What are the factors that will determine this file size? Is how many frame that we have in 1 second, which is frame rate. Okay. The frame size, okay, and the color depth and the bit rate. These four categories will tell you about the size. If you control these four, you will control the final product. Okay? So, any one of you remember the elements that determine the file size in audio, not video, last week? How we determine the file size in audio clips. In video we have four, right? In audio we had only two.
Sample rate and also sample size.
Exactly. Lovely. Thank you very much. Sandra, is it?
Huh?
Your name?
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking down anyone who is talking, giving free marks. So make sure to let me hear your voice. Okay, so in audio we have two, in video we have four, right? The frame rate, how many frames we have in 1 second, the frame size, the width, the height, and then the color depth, and then bit rate. Let's talk about each one of these four. Number one is the frame rate. How many images or frames do we have in 1 second? Okay, the more frames, the more quality. But obviously, the more frames, the more the file size. Now we do have a standard for the frame rate, which is 30 frame per second. 30 frame per second or 24 frame per second. Now, what controls how many frames that we actually using is what video that you are producing. For example, if you are producing something for TV, right, then you need at least 30 frame per second. Why? Because we are looking for quality. We don't care about the size for this case. But if you are creating something for your personal reference or your personal need, 24 would be fine because the size will be more acceptable, right? So there is a standard between 24 to 30 frame per seconds. Anything less than 24, for example 12 or 8, the quality is going to be garbage. Okay, so there is a frame. Now this one, these let's say criteria about the frame rates or whatever, same goes to animation. I'm not sure if you have already gone through animation and how many frame rates per second with Dr. Farhana, but the more frames that you have in animation, the more smooth, the more realistic you can see the animation. Okay, good. So as I mentioned, the more frames, the larger files. This is frame rate. The second uh, criteria is the frame size. Now we have different sizes. What is controlling the frame size is to know once, before you create your video, you need to determine the the frame size. For example, if you are creating something for YouTube, okay, then you need to know the best frame size for YouTube video. If you are creating something for Instagram, then the frame size will be totally different. Okay, so you cannot actually create something for YouTube and then upload it to Instagram. It's going to be crazy because when you create something for Instagram, you need to go with a frame size that is compatible with the smartphones. Once, sorry, but if you are creating something for YouTube or maybe Facebook, then you need something to be more with laptops and computers. So frame size will determine the resolution, which is the height and width. Okay. And obviously, if you are creating something for YouTube, is different from something that created for TV, for example, right? So the frame size will determine the quality. Now we have a lot of different frame size. Okay, these are the common frame sizes. For example, we have 1 to 80 for 1024. This is the full screen. For example, this could be used for YouTube, smart LCD, and stuff like that. And maybe you can go for something like 800 by 600. This is for TV production. Okay, so you need to understand the differences between these frame sizes. Now, it is not something, let's say, up to us to create the height and the width. Okay, both height and width need to be, in a ratio to each other. Otherwise, the image, the clip will not be at the best that we can see. So frame sizes always maintain an aspect ratio. They need to be compatible with each other, 4 to 3, which is to reflect the best resolution, whether for computers or TVs. Okay, now the ratio for TVs is different from smartphones or different from tablet. That is why, one more time, it's very important when you create the video to know that why you are creating this video, for what devices. So if you mainly create these videos for your phone to upload in Instagram, then this is the aspect ratio that you are going to go with. But you are creating something for your computers, laptops, it's a totally different story. Okay, so you need to understand the ratio. Now these are some of the standard frame sizes when we present digital videos. Standard definition SD. This for let's say common TV uses. High definition HD start from 280 until 3084 for 4K. Okay, this is the best resolution invented so far. But obviously, the size will be crazy for 4K resolution. That's why when you browse YouTube and you see some 4K videos, it takes a lot of time. It sucks the internet, and then it will be paused from 1 second to another seconds because the size is crazy. Okay, so the most standard, let's say, frame size is 1280 by 720, okay, which is very acceptable. So this is the display size to make it easy for us to understand. The first one is 720 pixels, which is very common for TV industries, okay, TV industries. And then we have 720 by 480, which is for NTCS. This is for analog devices. And then we have 1280 by 720, which is the one that I just mentioned, the high definition, very acceptable. And then finally we have 1920 across 1080, which is something for 2K or 4K and stuff like that. Now these are the common YouTube video sizes. You can start with 3840, which is going to be 4K, okay, and then 2560 for 2K, 1080 for HD, and then 720 for SD, and less than that it's going to be a very poor quality. Okay, and this is the difference between the standard definition and the high definition. Standard definition, one more time, is 720, and high definition is 1080. And these are the aspect ratios that you need to consider one by one, which is going to be poor quality. It's going to be like a dot in the screen, and then we have 4 to 3, which is the standard, very acceptable, quality very high, and then we have 16 to 9, which is more than high quality, 2K and 4K. Do you guys have any questions so far? Everything clear? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Clear, Doctor. Clear.
Clear, Doctor.
Okay, good. Now, these are some of the examples of the resolution and the quality it produces. Okay. The more the resolution, the more the quality, the more the size. Always remember this. Okay, so for example, if you want to create something for YouTube, but you are not going with, or you don't care about the quality, so you might actually go with 854 across 480 is going to produce standard definition. But if you are looking for something high definition, always go with 1920, which is the maximum resolution for high definition. Now, if you want something more than that, you can go with 2K and 4K. So this is the second category of the factors that will determine the size, the file size. Third factor is the color depth. Color depth. Now this exactly the same like this frame rate. How many frames per second? Now, how much color do we have in 1 bit? Okay, so digital videos are mainly made of graphic bitmaps. When we say bitmaps, we are saying we are referring to colors, basically. So the quality of the video is very, very dependent on how many colors that we have in 1 dot. All right. For example, if we have 8-bit depth provides, it provides 256 colors. 16 will give us around 64,000 colors. 24, which will give us more than 16 million colors. Now, we have a limit that we need to actually pay attention to. All right? This limit is determined or controlled mainly by our devices, laptop. For example, I have a not very professional laptop, okay, with 16 giga RAM, hard, for example, 1 tera hard disk. Okay, it's not very advanced. Okay, so I cannot actually create videos with 24-bit because it will hang. You know, always the movie industry and the animation industry, they need a huge, massive laptops with some extra facilities, so that they can provide more, right? But for your personal use, we can actually go with something like 16 because we have a standard laptops or computers, so that if you go farther, your computer will not be able to deal with it, right? Now these are the differences between, for example, 8-bit and 10. You can see when you go more, the quality is going to be smooth, it's not going to be, for example, something like pixelation. You can see how smooth, how realistic the final image. Now we can define the bit rate as the number of bits, okay, 0 or 1, and is the basic of all computing, because our computers cannot understand anything. They only understand 0 and 1 language, right? So when we create an audio using the computers, we are creating 0 and 1 file by the computer language. Now this voice that I am making, when I'm talking to you, the computers cannot understand anything from what I'm saying. It will actually convert this sound to 0 and 1. And this zero, the amount of zero and ones will be transferred to you, and your computer will convert these binary numbers into my sound again. Okay. And it is, for example, if we have a bit rate of 30 megabytes per second, which means that 30 million bits are being processed every second in order to play a video and audio. That's why when you go furthermore, you need more advanced laptops or devices. So there is a limit for you to actually follow. Now, if we are talking about something like streaming, so the higher video bitrate means higher quality video, which requires more bandwidth. Okay. This example is very similar to 4K videos on YouTube. If you play 4K videos on YouTube, you need a hella strong internet to play with. If you have a medium internet speed, then you go with HD. All right, high quality, high. Right. If you have a slow internet, you go with SD. Right. Same goes to streaming, because higher video streaming needs more bandwidth and internet speed. And the more video rates will give us more quality in the video. And these are examples of bitrate settings according to YouTube videos. Okay, we have, for example, 35 to 45 megapixels. It has 53 to 68 video bit high frame rate per second. Okay. Now this is the difference between, it's the same image, but the bit rate is different from one to another. You can tell that some of the details of the image is already disappeared. Okay, and this is determined by the bit rates per one. And this is the difference between standard dynamic range and high dynamic range. You can tell by the colors that are there in the video, in the image, right? Okay. Now let's talk about, since we are talking about a huge file sizes, we are going to need something to compress this size. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to deal with these sizes. Okay. So that's why we have something called codecs. Now, codecs, we have that as well in audios. We have discussed about that last week when we said if the audio size is huge, then you need to compress. One of the samples that we have actually discussed is MP3. So MP3 is a compressed file format that we can use, which give us the same quality as the original. Very, very similar to. Okay. Same goes to videos. We have something called codecs. Codecs will give us almost the same quality videos, but the file size is totally different. How we do this? We compress large size video. Okay, now how we compress videos using softwares. These softwares will help us to compress the quality, to compress the file size, but we maintain the quality of the video. Now, some of the software will maintain the file quality, some of them will not. That's why you need to be careful when you compress your video. Okay? Make sure to not lose the quality. Now, the process of removing or restricting data to decrease the file size is the definition of the compression. Compression must achieve a balance between controlling data rate and maintaining picture. If we lose this balance, the quality is gone. All right? So the compression process, the most important thing that we need to consider is the balance between controlling data rate and maintaining the display quality. This is exactly like that we have discussed last week about the audio compression. We have two types: lossless compression and lossy compression. Lossless, obviously, we are not going to lose the quality because it's lossless. There's nothing to lose here, right? And then we have lossy compression, which will give us a produced different decreased quality of the file. Let's discuss about each one of these. Lossless compression preserves the exact, or let's say almost exact image throughout the compression. So the quality will be almost the same. Okay. An example when this is important is in the use of text images. Text needs to appear exactly the same before and after file compression. Because sometimes when you compress some of the videos, it will play with the content of the video. So if you have a text, for example, the quality will be very bad. You are not able to read the text. All right. One technique for text compression is to identify repeating words and assign them a code. This is a technique that you can actually refer to some of the top duplicate words and give them a code. When you do that, it will not actually compress this word as much time as it goes through. So it will compress the word one time only, and then apply this code into all similar words. Okay, this is one technique to control the quality when you compress the video. Now, lossy compression is actually eliminates some of the data. Okay, so we are going to lose some of the data of the image. So the quality will be affected, all right, for lossy compression. Now, the greater the compression ratio, the poorer the decompressed image. All right, you can find a lot of softwares that decompress video files on the internet, but unfortunately, they will produce a very low quality. All right. Any questions so far, guys?
No, doctor.
Okay. For example, if the word multimedia appears in several times in a text file, it would be assigned to a code that takes up less space than the actual word. Why we do this? Because we don't want to compress this word each and every time this word appear, right? So this code during the compression would be changed back to the word multimedia. So it's not word anymore, it's a code. So that's how we don't lose the quality of it. Now, when we compress the videos, here are some of the very common codecs that will meet most of our need, whether personal or even professional. Okay, we can select one of these codecs when we convert the or decompress the video files. These codecs will give you a very good, acceptable, very similar quality to the original video. Now let's talk about file formats. Exactly like graphics, audio, animation, each one of these has file formats. Digital video as well has some formats that is related to what specific standards that we create video for, right? Or why do we choose some format and over others? Okay, let's discuss about this. We have very common video format. The first one is AVI, which is something related to Windows. Okay, it is a short for audio and video interleaved. It's a common format for Windows. We have MOV or Move. It's for Macintosh, for Apple devices. So MOV and AVI, it's very similar, but one for Windows and one for Macintosh. And then we have MPEG, this one for low C. MPEG is a common DVD format. MP4 is similar for MPEG but lossless. Okay, so you have created a video in your laptop using Adobe Premiere, but then this video size is huge. At the same time, you want to actually put this video into your smartphone. So what you need to do is you need to convert this whatever video into MP3 format. MP4, sorry, MP4, MP3 for audio. MP4 is for video. Okay. And the good thing about MP4, it runs in all devices, smartphones, laptops, YouTube, streaming, Flash, So MP4 is very common and it's lossless quality. Now, all this information, guys, it's a position for multiple choice questions in the final exam. So please go through the slides again. You can watch the recorded video. It's very important information. Now, one more format is WMV, which is a shortcut for Windows Media Format. It's obviously for Windows. RM for Real Media. Real Media refers to streaming video and streaming audio as well. And then we have ASF, Advanced Streaming Format by Microsoft. We have FLV, Flash Video, DV, Digital Video, MKV, this one for, it's an open source, okay, where you can actually, it's like a raw video you can edit and transfer or compress to another format. You can go through this link later on to be able to see a list of video and audio formats, and each one for what use. Now the final part of this class is going to be video editing tools. Okay, we will go through this, we will take an idea, and then starting from next week, we will start to apply. We will start to create video by ourselves. Okay, we have a lot of video editing tools. There are many video editing tools around, but we will stick with the very common ones. Okay, previously we had Windows Movie Maker. It's actually a software that used to be packed in with Windows, but it's not anymore, right? We have Apple iMovie, Sony Vegas, ProCut or Cut Pro, sorry, Final Cut Pro. We have Adobe Premiere, which is the most common software that is used to produce movies. This is a shortcut for iMovie, Final Cut Pro. Now, Final Cut Pro is something that Apple users use mostly, you know. Then we have Adobe Premiere, which is the most common software. This is Windows Movie Maker. This one is Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro. Okay. This one is Windows Movie Maker. And this one is Adobe Premiere that we are going to deal with, right? This one is Adobe Premiere. Now for video editing software is capable of, it can compress videos, it can transfer videos, we can copy, cut, paste, add a text, add an introduction, add sound effects, add an ending, you know, subtitles, we add images, graphics, whatever you want to do using the video editing tools. We can change the size, frame rate, we can edit the audio, we can remove the whole audio from one file and add another audio file. We can change the speed of the video, okay? And all this will be discussed further in our practical class. So guys, I hope everything is clear. Any questions so far?
No, doctor.
Okay, guys, are you done with animation? The animation topic? Guys,
Yes, doctor.
have you covered the animation, all the animation?
Topic 1.
Topic 3, animation. This one?
Dr. Farhana give us recorded.
Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. Okay, guys, that's all for today. Thank you very much, and we will see you, inshallah, next week in the computer lab.
Alright, doctor.
Oh, let me share the attendance. Sorry.
Doctor, in the next class, should we bring our laptop?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Better if you can bring your own laptop.
Alright, doctor.
Okay. I will share the class attendance in a second. Are you section 1 or 2, guys? Section 2,
2.
right? 2, okay.
2 and 1.
2 and 1. Okay. Okay, this is the class attendance, and see you next week, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Thanks.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Doctor.